Call the Stormwater Board meeting and work session meeting for March 9th, 2021. Would you all rise and repeat the Pledge of Allegiance with me? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Roll call, please.
Dennis Brick,
Yes.
Danny Wainwright,
Yeah.
Brian Lithick, Donna Littleton,
Here.
Tom Stevens, Eric Ozma, Robert Carnahan,
Here.
Gary Knowles, Ms. Murray. Present.
We'll have to defer the approval of the minutes for February 9th. They weren't fully available. So we will move on to old business. The first item in old business is Chuck Becker, 7513 West 136th Avenue.
His work done.
He's saying he's thinking about it. I checked before. No.
Do we have any updates as far as,
Yes and no. Recognizing contact with the state regarding possible buyout programs.
mhm,
Haven't really gone a whole lot further. I think he's waiting a call back from Department of Homeland Security, which runs a lot of that stuff. It's a federal grant program that's doled out by the state.
okay,
So we're still working on some of the eligibility requirements on that
okay,
and potentially adding one or two other properties to include with that. So
Okay.
we're still working on it right now. So not a whole lot of updates, but that's kind of where it's at.
so our plan to possibly buy the property is still
Yeah, I mean, it's
He'll be
in limbo.
research.
it's
Okay.
a good plan for now because we don't have the money to do the actual project. So this is the placeholder for now. And if it goes through, then maybe.
Okay, if there be no discussion, we'll move on to item B, which is Lynn's Way, Carey Street.
Go ahead.
Don had provided us a list of the property owners that would be affected
Mhm.
and the items that they would need to be removed. I'm going to be working with Rick on developing a letter to send to those affected property owners and to get that into our schedule. And our financial advisor also is aware of the project and the cost and is reviewing that as part of the stormwater analysis that she is.
And since she brought up Sue Hazen doing that work, and I talked to Jen today because we've asked what kind of money are we getting in on a monthly basis? And Jen says she can't let us know exactly what that is until after Sue does the report. And then she'll get you, but some of it goes to pay for staff and that too.
Okay, well, again, this is an ongoing issue. We are progressing, I hope, moving forward.
To report to you, and Bob, I think you can back this up. One of the things the council had directed this calendar year was moving forward with a sustainability plan of our budgets. So part of those budgets are your utilities. And this analysis she is doing ties into the analysis, the other financial advisor that was hired to do that. We're working hand in hand
Okay,
on completing these, so there's a lot of moving components, so we hope to get that to you, and honestly, it'll probably be finalized the end of April. So you may not get the final numbers till May. We'll be close. But because these two are moving hand in hand with capital projects and looking at the overall operations, you probably won't see something more of a finalized report until your May meeting.
okay, and
Not that, Lynn's Way and Perry Street, that's a project we've been looking at and needs to be done. But making sure we identify all your other available funds to you.
Well, just so you know, Jill, the Stormwater Board voted unanimously to make sure that all of the citizens involved in this project were on board with it first before any expenditures or were approved. Just, I don't know if you knew that or, okay.
That's the direction it's going. I mean, we need to contact them all first. And then, if,
Right,
you know,
no, I understand. I understand. I just, thank you.
And we got a lot of sinkholes out there too.
Yeah, I don't think it'll be a problem.
Yeah, we do. There's one right in the middle of Reeder Road.
Items identified by Don that are a little more specific than just the 10 feet of your backyard needs to be cleared out or whatever.
they're pretty specific in what's in each lot. Because like I said, they're duplex lots, so there's about 16 of them. So they all kind of have their own challenges. A couple are okay.
These sinkholes are related to our drainage system? Is that what you're saying?
They're related to the pipe collapse.
Okay,
So we're just losing all that soil into the pipe right now.
okay. And this is still at Lynn's Way and Carey Street, correct?
Yes.
Okay,
It's about 860 feet pipe and it's got what, about 5 catch basins in there or is it 6?
5 or 6. I don't have the exact plan. Do I have them in front of me?
I forgot. Is it drain to the north or the south?
Huh? Drains to the north. There it is.
There's a lot of dirt that the north end of the-
It takes a lot of flow. It's an off-site system that collects a lot of the Hughesman farm property. 6, 7, probably about 6.
And it's 860 feet.
I believe it's 800 and change. Yep.
Means that is an easement, right? Yeah.
Yeah, there's a 30-foot easement back there. It's a big easement.
Yeah. Deposit up north. It was back-to-back lots and they had an easement, they went right down the middle and replaced it. Big for big storm sewer on in there.
This is a
There's an existing
3-footer.
one. but-
Yeah, this is a 3-footer. So big boy too.
And was the estimated cost about $280,000
Oh, I don't know.
Oh, for theirs or ours?
for Lynn's Way?
Oh,
Yeah, it was around that. It was in the 200 range.
yeah, we had that reported in January.
Yeah. It was in the
Uh,
200 range. I think it was like 280, but that was a pretty heavy.
Cost
contingency.
estimates, not
Yeah.
an actual billing.
Right.
Okay, are there any other comments on Lynn's Way or Carey Street? If not, we'll move on to update items.
Can
The
probably-
first letter A is 137th and Lowerman.
Can probably handle these together. They're similar, obviously not located together, but similar. These two, as we discussed last month, were included in that kind of roadway subdivision master plan that we put together. So we broke out cost estimates for both of them. They can be standalone projects, but they're not cheap. Right now, there's not enough money in the budget for either one of them. And this also overlaps with the road committee kind of agenda as well. I would recommend to table both of these until the road committee meets. And see if they want to take them on as singular projects, whole projects, or kind of what their thought is. We haven't met as a committee to discuss that plan yet either, so.
So your recommendation, Don, is to keep 137th and Lowerman and Sherman still
As update items.
still as update items?
Yeah, I mean, because I don't know ultimately whose court they're gonna fall into, if it's road committee, or this board's. I think that's
Okay.
still up for discussion.
Okay. So we can count on a report when the,
Yeah, we'll definitely keep you in the loop. I mean, hence the reason keeping it on the agenda.
okay,
We'll kind of let you know.
all right, thank you. Move on then to letter C, which is Jacob Veman, 9208 West 142nd Place.
This project is green lit. We're just effectively waiting for weather. I say that in a day when it was almost 70, but yeah, that'll be completed by one of the towns kind of previously contracted as stormwater contractors. So we have everything signed, easement wise, plans ready to go. It's just a matter of getting it out the door and getting somebody on board with it. So hopefully we'll have a little more moving for your next meeting. Obviously won't be done, but it may be bid out by or quoted out by then. So
Okay.
we'll discuss that with staff and get it out.
Do you want that to remain on your agenda as an update item? since
Well,
is
if
a
it's-
project?
If it is an item that is already in the works as far as funding goes and actual progression of the job, I don't see why we would need that other than an update report on, well, I guess an update item is same thing, so.
But to have it called out as, we could just provide it as an update.
Right,
Okay.
but the town council has given the green light to fund this project, right? Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, D, Woods of Cedar Creek.
So this is on your agenda to approve a change order for the project. The project is completed. They're looking to get paid. The change order essentially summarizes a bunch of the scope changes we had to do out there with, as a result of some other residents coming in pretty much the day we were about ready to break ground. So the initial scope of the project was essentially excavation only. We were going to regrade some of those rear yards back there for the 4 lots that agreed to give us easements. Long story short, the day we were ready to break ground, some residents came into town hall and said, "Why aren't you helping us?" So we pivoted and put a pipe in the ground instead. So that changed a lot of our pay items and blah, 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 blah. It changed the entire scope of the project pretty much. So the change order essentially that needs to be approved tonight kind of updates a lot of the pay items that we added, some we removed. And the project cost went up by $1,000, which really wasn't related to the scope change. It was more related to access change. We went through another parcel to the south and we needed matting for it. So that got added. So it's an increase in the project cost of $1,002 to an overall project cost of $48,985.00.
Could you repeat that again?
$48,985.00.
Now, this needs to be a recommendation from this board to proceed.
To approve it, and then somebody needs to sign it. Whoever would want to do that. I think
Sure.
Ryan would
The
normally.
recommendation from staff would be that the stormwater board approves this change order and authorizes Daniel, the vice chair, correct?
Yes,
The vice chair to sign the change order.
okay. We have to make that in the form of a motion.
If you can make the motion to approve the change order and authorize the signature of Dan Enright as the vice chairman on the change order.
The change order is for an increase of $1,002.
$2.
I can't remember.
Say so
Say
moved.
so moved.
So moved. Okay, it's been regularly moved, and I'll second that this board approves the change order and recommends that we proceed with the construction.
Oh, no, it's already constructed.
Pardon me?
It's done.
It's done.
This is to close,
This
this
is
is to close out the project.
I apologize.
No, sorry.
Essentially, we can't recommend pay. We have, the pay application which comes after this has to reference pay items. But the pay items aren't technically there yet.
So the motion actually is just to pay the 1,000,
No. It's to revise the contract.
but it's
With-
already done.
It's done. This is normally backwards. This one's
I
quirky.
would, you know,
This one's admittedly a little quirky. I'm not gonna.
You're gonna sign a check.
They're not signing a check. You're just signing a.
yeah, as long as it's written
It's written.
with the amounts in it, I'll be more than happy to recommend it. So again, the motion is to approve this change order and to pay out the,
That works. Yeah. We'll pay them after you sign this, essentially.
okay.
You
You
need
in
a roll
favor of
call.
it? Yes,
You just need a roll call.
Yeah.
He's already recommended it and you seconded it, so now you need a roll call.
right.
Daniel, you here?
That would be Daniel Enright, and yes.
Thomas Frick,
Yes.
Ryan Lizick?
Okay. So next month you'll have a pay application to formally pay them.
Okay.
We have that for you, at it.
Any other comments on the woods of Cedar Creek?
One of the things on that we will need to consider moving forward is the fact that as we were out there doing the project and neighbors were approaching the town, many of the other residents there have come in and agreed to a future project. A lot of the homeownership has changed hands in that subdivision where some of those property owners who did not want to participate in the first phase
No longer live there.
no longer live there and want to
wow.
participate now. So that is one of those things that, that project was, we did a lot of work on that project. And as we're looking at these capital projects moving forward, Don will identify a rough estimate on that and we'll look at that and bring it forward to you once we look at the projects we already have on the books, because we basically said we're only doing what we can get participation on. And some of those property owners are in favor of doing a larger project. That's why the project we wound up doing can be built upon.
Yeah, the other one wouldn't, we couldn't build off of it.
So you
We
may
needed a
see,
pipe in the ground.
you may see Woods of Cedar Creek appear again in the future.
Or another project.
Extension of this.
Extension of this project, and a lot of that's gonna have to do with, now that we're gonna have the spring, we'll be able to see the function of the project we installed in the fall. You obviously need water to test that out, and then we'll have communications with those property owners moving forward to see if they're still having the same concerns they were having before.
So what had happened already is like, what you're talking about is gonna tie into what, possibly tie into what you already did.
What we did.
Yeah.
So we essentially installed 2 manholes that connect into that giant 30-inch pipe that runs out to the detention basin. And there's a stub now sitting at the furthest southern lot that we got into. So we can tap into that if we have to. It's
Oh.
low enough, and we set it low enough that we can, like,
We
we
plan
tie
for
a
the
pipe.
So you
future.
planned ahead.
Mhm.
Gotcha. Very good.
But wasn't the project,
The original project
Vetoed.
was to have, storm sewer pipe heading south. But some of the homeowners in between on that route said no.
right?
So you can't have a gap in our line. That doesn't make any sense. So
No, I understand
we
that. So
essentially
we
went to-
decided that we were not going to do anything, I thought.
no, we still approved these 4 most downstream lots because we had access to our outlet point. We
Okay,
just couldn't go further south to get to the other ones with the people in the middle system.
so the scope of the work that new homeowners are asking for,
It would
would
essentially
be-
be very similar to what the original plan.
Okay,
that we couldn't do. So
okay,
we kind of went back to that drawing board when we were out there, said, okay, let's construct this instead. And if we tie into it in the future, we'll tie into it. So it's an if and a maybe right now.
okay.
Dan, if I could, for the record,
Sure,
I wanted to acknowledge that Eric arrived at 6:35, just so it's in the minutes.
okay. Thank you. Hello, Eric. Hi. How's it going? Okay, do you have any public works projects on going on, Eric?
Not yet, not until we get at least a nice week. I mean, there's a little stuff here and there, but not
Right.
nothing big major. Not yet anyway.
Okay, anybody else want to comment on the public works projects?
Well, if I could back up, one of the things Public Works is doing, some of these stormwater projects, they are doing cammering in-house where we don't have to outsource that. So that's kind of preparing for any repairs that may need to be made, kind of looking at some of the manholes and trying to identify any inflow that we're getting in our sewer system, which ultimately should be in our stormwater system. So some of those utilities kind of cross over, so some of that work may not be
Yeah.
specifically identified
Yeah.
to Eric and the department, but it's protecting our wastewater system and our stormwater system by identifying some of these. So as is some of the projects, I don't want it to sound like Public Works is waiting for the
No.
spring thaw, but some of the things they are doing is preparation for future projects, and also protecting what infrastructure we do have.
Yeah, my partner and I have been we're working more closely with sewer and water department to find projects that need to be fixed and that have been neglected over the last couple of years. So the last couple of days we've been going out and we found a couple that are just basic, easily fixes, but we're finding them. I
Okay,
mean, there's one on Ritzkin and Drygas that we need to do, and so
yeah,
I have a list for you, for Don, I just haven't been able to get it to you.
so if I can, the Public Works is going to identify these projects.
They could, if they're
Yes.
larger projects that need to come to you, but some of them are regular routine operational
Right,
things, so I wanted
But
to
what
let
I'm
you
getting
guys
at
know
is-
that some of the stuff they're doing
Yeah.
isn't like building a house where you're gonna see this big,
no, I
Big
understand the everyday things. I'm saying that the board is not responsible to identify these problems. It will be strictly the Public Works, and if they need assistance, then they will go to you
Yes,
and to
and
the
ultimately
appropriate.
we'll determine, if we need to bring
Yes.
something to you as a project or, lump it together, as we had previously discussed, some of these projects similar to what we're doing at the V-Men's on 142nd Place, where if we have a couple of those, we can tie them together and put them out to the contractor.
Okay,
and we also are almost ready to start doing some more storm drain inspections as well, and like the Rose Garden, and Birchwood and stuff like that. I know that's going to be,
It'll be busier.
yeah, so we also do that as well.
okay,
And I know they didn't stop working during winter, so I'm assuming that's gonna be coming up in the next weeks or so.
Yep.
the Rose Garden is the new addition on 141st, correct? Okay,
And Dan, one more thing to report. So we're working on coordinating a monthly meeting again with staff. We've invited Ryan, if Ryan's not available. I'm sure he would have us extend the invitation to you, kind of to provide an update. What were we looking at, the
Second Thursday.
second
Second Thursday,
Thursday.
yeah.
So we would kind of follow up this meeting with our to-do list and bring projects forward. So we're developing the agenda and continuing that.
okay,
And then also moving some of this to the Public Works Department Wendy will probably be putting your agendas together in the future. She's the Public Works Assistant down there. A lot of the projects tie directly to Public Works and the Director of Operations. So tying all this together is one of the things we're also looking at, but we would still include
Yeah.
town management and council. So as we move forward, we'll continue to have those meetings to have updates on projects and how roads and storm and sewer all tie together. That way we'll have all the players in those meetings.
Okay. Anything else, Eric, that you'd like to add?
No, I'm good.
Jill,
No, thank you.
Don? Good. Okay, we'll move on to public comment. Hello. Say, for the record, state your name again.
Richard Czar, 11905 West 129th Avenue. Just kind of a follow-up, how we're coming along with the repaving of 129th Avenue. If there's anything new.
It is out to advertisement.
Okay.
That's bid.
So bids are due on the 22nd.
So we're still looking, I think we're talking May 1st last month or,
It'll be May or June, most likely. I think we have a 90-day obligation after it's awarded. It's got to be awarded before April 8th. So, yeah, we'll have to do some initial potholing early on to verify some utilities out there. But after that gets through, it'll move.
I've been seeing like markings, is that part of it, the planning or alongside the road?
That likely is just utility locates.
Okay,
So we had those done in January for some pickup survey. So that's what that was.
okay,
So you'll see a lot more of that as they get going. So
Okay.
they'll locate them all throughout the entire corridor eventually.
okay, just kind of a follow-up. that's
Yep.
all. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Rich. Any other public comments? Just a quick question for the record. I noticed on from 141st to 149th Avenue on Morris, there's utility locates for gas. I believe yellow is gas.
Yeah, I don't know why they're there.
They run from the Tasty Top south to 149th Avenue on the west side of the road next to the golf course. And I was wondering if anybody had any information as to why that was marked.
Is only gas marked?
That's
Only
their
gas.
yellow flag, so that's
Could be a
gas.
Mitchell project.
I know we were talking about putting up street sign poles, but I don't know if that's for it or not.
No, they won't be locating the whole stretch, they just be locating.
Well, that,
Yeah,
most of the street signs are on the east side of Morris.
Where's the pole
On the east
one?
side,
East side too. right?
yeah.
Oh,
is it on the
should be
same
a
side?
NIPCO underground project.
They
they're
could be
doing something.
replacing their name.
Yeah, they're doing something with Crown Point.
Yeah, what's the whole stretch then?
I don't know.
They might be. doing
Crown
something
Point,
with
that's
their
Cedar Lake.
I know. I'm just saying NIPSCO's doing a
We'd have to
gas.
ask 811 what location.
Okay, well, the town isn't aware of any projects that are going on there.
No, we didn't call it.
Not really, yeah, that's true.
All right, are there any other public comments? If not, we will adjourn the meeting. Thank you for coming and thank you for your comments.